yet. Live. Now we're live. We are live.
Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian talk the Corona Live episode 5, Coronavirus Podcast, episode 5. And today we got a special guest with us, Mr. Aaron Lee Dow. You've seen him on our Black Panther review. We actually have him on the podcast as well. But yeah, we got him on today to see how, well, to talk, basically, we're talking about how this whole lockdown and this whole virus pandemic could potentially affect the film industry. You know,
Permanently, or at least,
permanent.
or at least for the foreseeable future. That's a better way to say it. But potentially permanently. And
I mean,
I think that's what we're gonna get
yeah,
into. Actually,
I talked about it before. There's a conditioning that's going on right now with the way people are viewing stuff, and it's been going on for years. But now, without having that outlet of going to the movie theater for who knows how long it's going to be, we were supposed to be in 2 weeks, when this first went down, and it's to April 30th, so things aren't going to be back to normal potentially at the earliest until May 1st, and then but who knows how long this thing's really going to go along, and there's a possibility it's going to be 6 months that none of these things are open, and then by the time the fall comes around, and just the way people think about things too. Like, are they going to want to and go into public around a lot of people? Are they going to be okay with that? Which might be bullshit. Like, you know,
smaller band, whatever, whatever. I don't know. I might not care for at least for a year or something. Who knows? Or like think twice about a Dodger game. Like maybe I'm not gonna go watch them play a shitty team. Maybe I'll go see them play like. But then, or
or maybe
maybe I'm not gonna go on bubble night. Maybe I'm not gonna go on bubblehead night,
you're
and I'll go the day
you're
before.
only going to take the risk when you feel like it's worth it. Maybe. Like World Series tickets. Yeah,
Of
that's a
course.
once in a lifetime thing.
Already into
Alright.
baseball,
And
cause you know
also,
how I feel. No All
it,
Star
it
game
also
after all this fucking time.
Yeah, I wore this hat just for you, by the way, Aaron. Yeah, I have my daughter's hat over here. I saw that. Yeah, no, like with the film industry, I'm actually been thinking about how this is going to change
Did
the
you
way that people perceive YouTube and YouTubers. Because my mother's someone who watches, like, she's my case study for a lot of things. She watches, like, The Masked Singer, she watches The Bachelor, she watches, like, a lot of network television, like, exclusively almost. Um, but now she's forced to watch the people that she watches on their webcams in the same way that YouTubers have been doing for 10, 12 years now. So my question is, because I'm always been curious about how the new media is going to get into the mainstream media, like the traditional media, and I haven't seen much of that. I haven't seen much crossover artistically or aesthetically, where YouTubers, like, the way that they edit their stuff, the way that the stuff just looks visually is very different than what you will find on network television. But now those worlds are kind of colliding because they have to. So is this opening the door for one of these networks to say, instead of maybe trying to program something, why don't we get one of these more famous YouTubers to just do what they do during our prime time show, during our prime time times? You know, like, I don't know, but that's actually that's
That's a good
what I've
take.
been curious
That's
about.
a good take because you know what? We have high production value right now. like no, just going off what you
It's
said.
the truth.
Like because Gian and I were talking about this, but in a different way the other day when I was saying that um, Hollywood has to keep making content. Like
Mm-hmm.
Fucking all these major networks are not going to stop making live television. They got to figure out a way to do it. Live
Yeah.
content at home,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, which is what people are used to on YouTube. So they basically are like, okay, what's the cheapest thing we can do in the smallest setting possible, but the most money we could put behind it. All right. It's like the NASCAR drivers who are driving NASCAR right now digitally, and like Gian was telling me that the
Oh, they are.
NBA, yeah, they have a simulator and they're fucking simulating the races and they're like broadcasting it
Oh,
on Fox. Like Fox has this.
wow.
Instead of the NASCAR, they're showing the driver, and it's the real drivers. It's like Dale Earnhardt Jr., like all their favorites and shit.
Wow.
And Gian said
That's
that
great.
the NBA is thinking about doing the same thing, but with their big players. And I'm just
They
like,
are doing it. They're
see,
doing
there
it
you
Friday at 3 o'clock. They're having the
Twitch
NBA players
or
are playing a
Mixer.
2K tournament. It's on ESPN.
See,
I
this
want
is
to
what I'm
say,
saying. So it's
you know,
legitimizing everything. You're right. No, your take is hot. That's a
uh,
good take. But that's a positive thing or potentially a negative thing, depending, because
yeah, depending.
that could literally be what breaks down the dam and just floods the market
Mm-hmm.
completely to obscurity, where it's like, oh, we're not even gonna bother to find these YouTubers anymore because every YouTuber is gonna have a show now.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to go to that extent, but then I could, I might be completely wrong. Just for example,
Maybe not for
we
our
got
audience,
this.
but for the younger ones.
No. I mean, for example, like we've been talking for the last couple of years that reality TV is kind of taking a drop, it's kind of dying to a certain extent. Like it had its peak when the writers went on strike in 2008. And you saw this huge like leap in reality TV where everybody was like every single subject matter they were putting out a show out on it, and then it was hot for a while, and then now it's kind of tapered off. People are still watching the big, like the main shows, like the fucking Bachelor and the Bachelorette or whatever, and those shows like that. People are still watching, variations of American Idol.
Yeah,
A
90
lot of
Day
women,
Fiance.
or are people watching that, or My 600 Pound Life, stuff like that.
People love that.
But
Those are
yeah,
popular shows.
well,
Oh, those shows are
they
funny as
do.
fuck.
They absolutely do, and I
Damn.
guess my point is,
That 800-pound lady that got on the scale, and then her like 600-pound boyfriend was like, "Damn."
what I'm saying
Hilarious
is
shows.
like, some of those shows were doing good, but a lot of the shows started dying off, and you weren't seeing as much. But then I turn on Netflix, and everybody on social media is talking about Tiger King.
Oh,
You know what
Tiger
I
King
mean?
now too.
So
Yeah,
Tiger
she's
King,
been she's been
and
doing it.
I'm watching the show with my wife. We're like 4 episodes in, and I'm like, dude, this is still fucking reality TV under the guise of a documentary. It's a white trash dude doing some crazy shit, and the only reason why we're interested in it is because it's like crazy people doing crazy shit in real life.
Well,
You know what
that's
I
what I
mean?
tell
And
my
obviously,
students. It's like reality is just documentary. That's all it is. You
right.
know. So I'm not surprised that Netflix is getting into this because Netflix is trying to compete with ABC or probably more realistically with like Bravo and like TLC and like these cable networks. You know, because they have to build that content. They have to because Disney Plus is taking all their Disney subscribers, all the people who go to watch the Disney stuff. So they have to
Oh
make
yeah,
it.
yeah.
In
Let me ask
reality,
you.
it's
Let me ask
cheaper.
you something about, since we're talking about streaming, and I want to bring it more to the movies at large because I feel like the theaters are what are going to be hit the most. I feel like out of everything, out of all of this, and I think,
Yes. Oof.
um, is this is the coronavirus what Hollywood has been trying to avoid all of these years in terms of their distribution models? Because Hollywood has been, they don't want to put things day in and day out release. They want to have that theatrical window to make as much money. But I don't know how these numbers are doing, but they might say, shit, what's the Disney movie that just came out? Not Enchanted. What's the troll movie?
Onward.
Onward. They might said, Onward was projected to be a bomb, But these at-home sales are like astronomical. Maybe this is a valid avenue for some of our bigger pictures, where maybe we just we don't have a 3 month window. Maybe we do it. Maybe it is going to be a month. Like, but how do you think they
Right.
switch over to something like that because the numbers they're seeing might be good enough? Where they might take a
Uh,
chance, like not on every
I
movie.
I mean, if the money is there, I think absolutely. And just because we already know how the theater market's
Or the
not,
inverse, or
it's
they're
doing
not
good.
making money at
It's
all,
doing
but it's
okay.
boosting their subscribers by joining fucking Disney Plus.
Right. But I don't. I mean, really, this might be the test. This might be the this whole fucking virus might be a hoax just to get people to test this fucking of on demand
It
at home
I'm
rather than
I'm
going.
just saying, like Netflix has been championing this forever, and Hollywood's like, no,
Right.
no, 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 we're not gonna do it, we're not gonna do it, and then this might wet their whistle a little bit, so they might just forego certain things. And I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know either.
why wouldn't
I
Disney
hope not.
become a $1 billion, bajillion dollar Netflix? Because they have the
See,
resources, and they're
Well,
already
they're
going
going to
to.
be.
They're already going to
well,
be.
my mentality, my thought process about it was more. That's why I wanted. I thought Aaron would be good for this subject matter. Was I feel like this is gonna affect like indie film and like film festivals more than anything else now. With that combination of like that, hey, I don't know if I want to go to be around a big group of random people somewhere, you know, along, and also, just the streaming stuff as well, and getting the money to make this stuff. Because the money has been disappearing for years, and people are self funding their projects, right? And if your parents aren't rich
Yeah.
and you don't have a rich friend funding your shit, I think it's going to be even more difficult now because now you're not. It's going to be harder to get people to even go and show up to watch these things now. And but well, until and we're throwing this out there, but until a vaccine is out there or some sort of treatment that's consistent is out there, I think people are going to be hesitant to go into large group gatherings, except for these dumbass kids in Florida still doing spring break, or going to New Orleans and partying and shit.
Well, I think the funding idea about funding like these independent films, that's fascinating. I think I can see that drying up more in the immediate than in the long term, because at the end of the day, people are still going to want to make these independent films. People are still going to want, especially independent film watchers. Like I think some of the smaller festivals may die out, which may not even be an issue on some levels because there's so many film festivals out there. Uh, but the day before Garcetti said that he's going to close all movie theaters and bars, I was actually going to go to New Beverly to watch a movie from like the 1940s, a double feature, Barbara Stanwyck films. I knew it was playing Sunday and Monday, and I was like, I'll go Monday instead. I wish I had gone Sunday because he closed the bars at night and movie theaters at night. I say that because independent people go to these these festivals are a specific type of people. Who I don't think they will be too deterred from going, at least not like the bigger festivals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also curious to know to see how the funding, because we have no idea what the economy is going to be like just in general.
That's the thing. Who's gonna want to
Um,
spend? Like, the prices are gonna have to go down. No one's gonna want to spend $15 to the movies again. If this goes on for months and months and months.
I don't know, because no one knows how quickly the economy could or would recover. Because this isn't a depression in the way that we had it 12 years ago. This is very different. This is
I think for some people it could be, but that's the thing. We don't know.
we don't
You don't know
know.
how it's gonna. You don't know how bad it's gonna be. Like, that's the thing. You don't know how bad it's gonna get. But we can
And
all
people are
say,
just holding their breath right
we
now.
can
That's all we're
all say
doing.
right now that the movie that we've never experienced a complete shutdown like this in the
No,
history.
it's weird. From my student's perspective, they're watching a lot more movies though. Like I have friends who are actually watching more movies now than they did pre-shutdown.
Yeah, true.
But they're streaming them.
But but it's I don't I feel like it's weird to say this because I don't believe this works for the country, but I think in the movie industry, trickle down economics works. Once the top
Mm-hmm.
stop working, then people stopped having to have money to do their little project, and then it kind of just keeps going and going and going, and then once you go to the
Yeah.
whole like once the state stops it, like says
But
no meetings after 10 or groups over, then it kind of kills that. Then that's what really killed everything, because I was still shooting at that point when there was a
well,
10-person limit.
it's funny, yeah, because I had a friend of mine who's post production for a show on CW. She's a producer, and she's been at home for weeks now. Like I remember when she told me, I could probably find the date if I go through my text messages about when they sent her home. She's still working. The editor's still cutting. So they have I guess a backlog of some stuff. But once that stuff dries up, and you're not able to produce more stuff, man, I don't know. And also, like I forgot that the WGA and the agents were having issues because there's supposed to be another strike or potential,
Right.
and that's been simmering for months now, and it was supposed to come to a head pretty soon, but nobody's in production. No one's. I presume writers are still writing. In fact, I have a friend who was sent home for a show on Freeform she's writing for, but I think they're still writing. At least the best they can. It has to get. I'm sure it's going to come to a point where like we have too many shows written, and we don't know even if the series even go that direction. After a certain point. Yeah, it's like to me, it seems like we're just collectively holding our breaths and hoping that it just kicks back up, which I can see it because I also think that this will be such a rush for people to want to live life again, and to try to pick up where we left off, assuming that you don't have 2 or 3 family members who were severely injured by COVID or dead by COVID. Because those things really start to factor in. They're talking about 200,000 Americans dying. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah. It's not even, it's just funny because what COVID is doing is exposing a lot of just issues that America has had, that America has not addressed. It's funny how like well, it's funny too because one thing that isn't being spoken about.
Hold up, real quick. Sorry to interrupt, but the chat's saying that Daniel, you're muted.
What about now? Test,
maybe that's
test 1 2.
maybe that's something like you guys. Let us know, and you guys in the chat, let us know if you can hear Aaron and I as well. Rick says there's a big echo.
That I don't know I can't solve that. I think the echo is coming from your laptop, Gian, actually, because you don't have your AirPods in.
No, my AirPods are on.
Oh, I thought you said earlier. I don't know then.
When I call back.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, let's not. It sounds fine on the edit. I'll have to place it.
Me and also like on YouTube, the size of my camera keeps going like huge and then full back or whatever.
Well, like that's another issue that Corona is also proving how terrible our ISPs are. Our internet service providers.
No.
Because when I was in Korea, I was paying like $17 a month for 500 gigabits.
I always use Korea as an example of like what internet should be, but I never lived there, so I'm just talking out of my ass. But I know like since the early 2000s, Korea has had like the top of the line internet. Like they had services that we're barely getting now 20 years ago, and in Japan as well. Like, and it's insane that our country is like we're getting raked over the coals by the fucking companies. You know,
Well, that's what it is. It's like, because these internet service providers refuse to increase bandwidth for so long. This is why Google got into the game, because they were saying that no one wants gigabit service, and Google was like, well, we're going to prove you wrong by starting gigabit service for free in these cities, and so they started to do a little service. But yeah, you go to Korea. Korea is the most connected city, or country in the world. Their internet is better than Japan. When I would go to Japan, I would have to like try to find Wi-Fi. There was no free Wi-Fi. But you go to any coffee shop in Korea, it's free Wi-Fi. Anyway, like all over the country, it's just you're connected. And the internet was just so much cheaper too, and it was a lot faster. I think now we have like 200 megabit connections in some places. But for a long time, I remember when I first left, it was like 70 or something like that. Or, it wasn't because these companies don't. So now we have this issue. Everybody's at home streaming. Everybody at home trying to watch video. Everybody's at home trying to send these files because they're working from home now. And our internet companies are like maxed out because they refuse for years to broaden the bandwidth because they didn't think that Americans wanted it or Americans even cared enough for it.
Yeah, but
They really came down to them not wanting to spend the money because they didn't have to.
some of these some people are blaming this on COVID though, like on 5G on COVID.
What is that? What is that connection?
There's some like thing that this all has to do with 5G. Like 5G caused the virus to spread. You haven't heard this?
No, this is one thing.
Joking. I'm obviously. I mean, I'm not joking. Like this is real. People actually.
This is real. People believe it. Yeah.
But
It's so fast.
by the way, I just sent a picture in the chat. Everybody's saying that Aaron looks like this cricket player named Ryan Lara from Trinidad.
I was like, who is this dude popping up in this? Because he pops up. I'm gonna go and YouTube his in Korea, and every like the couple of times they asked me, I either could do it. One time I could do it, I just didn't do it. I never played cricket. I grew up playing baseball, So, but I do respect the game of cricket,
You understand?
But yeah, like, I've done enough research. I know that you have to like knock over the sticks. I know that everything's in play. I know like the runs are counted from going back and forth. And like, the pitcher's job is to knock over these three sticks with like this thing on top of it behind the batter. The batter's job is to hit it, hit the ball so it doesn't happen. And I also know these games are going for like, and matches are going for like 10 days sometimes.
5 days, yeah. Or 1 to 5
Yeah.
days, basically, yeah.
It depends on the match. Like some of them are like purposely shorter than other. Or,
Also, we got to pause because I guess we actually never introduced Aaron.
No, I did at the very beginning.
Well, people are saying that we just jumped into a discussion. So,
They're like, who is this guy?
Aaron, introduce yourself before we continue and proceed so they even know who you are. You're not just some random guy.
I'm a film professor, a filmmaker here in Los Angeles. I've known Daniel. How long have you known Daniel?
I don't know.
10 years. I think it's been like 9 or 10 years. And I met Gian through Daniel because they met when they were in film school. So that's who I am. Again, I've been in previous episodes, so go back through the archives.
He is also our black correspondent.
What's happening in the streets? And it's funny because you ask me questions, I'm like, I don't know. I just saw that Tory Lanez and Drake broke Taylor Swift's Instagram streaming record apparently today by having 300,000 live streams on Instagram Live.
Shit, that's right. That's what people. That's what our fucking rich people are doing now. They're just going online and doing streams.
This is what I'm saying. It's not good for people. Now they're like, Daniel or Gian or fucking Beyonce. What do you choose?
I feel like, you know what? I feel like it's actually better for them to tune into us because, I was listening to Rogan and from what Rogan was saying, he's like, all these celebrities going live and then you like really get to see how fucking socially awkward they are, and just fucking like
Is it bad? I haven't
wow.
watched anything, so I don't know.
Well, they've been roasting people. A lot of people have been roasting Gal Gadot because she like started doing like a live karaoke of fucking Imagine, the John Lennon song,
Yeah.
as an uplifting thing with all her like celebrity friends and people who are like jumping in on the song, and she's just getting roasted like throughout the internet by all the comics because the comics aren't doing their shows, and all they have now is to, like go on the internet with people, or Twitter. Yeah, like that's they're like I got to perform somehow, so I'm just gonna rip people instead.
It's funny because I've been like, should I get back? I haven't been on Instagram since July. I saw the Super Tuesday was over here in California. I got off of Twitter, and now I'm sitting at the house, and I'm like, man, maybe I should get back on these social medias, and then I can like watch what's happening and all this stuff. But at the same time, it's like, do I really want to see Gal Gadot sing Imagine? No, you know.
No, not
Uh,
at all.
like it's funny watching Seth Meyers evolve in his show because he started off like in his hallway or something, and he didn't have a headphones or anything on. I was like, oh my god, he was know what he's doing, what he's doing, what he's doing, and then he moved to like in front of a bookcase, and he's like, yeah, apparently like it's like his hallway. A lot of people walk through it. I said, that's the biggest issue with the hallway. The issue was that it would look terrible because there's like nothing there but doors, and you sounded awful because you're in a room that just echoes everywhere. So it's funny to see these people like try to figure this out. Again, this goes back to the YouTubers, people who have been doing this and perfected this over like years of experience. And now you have these like even Joe Biden is a great example. You know,
Don't talk about Joe.
because I would talk first of all.
Don't compliment him on anything.
I'm not complimenting him. This is the opposite.
Oh, okay.
This is
Now
it.
proceed.
He had to get us. He had to get a team in there into his house to set up this live stream that he has
He had to break
because
the
he didn't
quarantine rules just so he could start it up.
just so he can be able to talk to people. And I guess someone because I haven't watched a lot of it, but someone said he was behind a podium in his house at one point. Like, why are you at a podium
He
when
was.
you're live streaming from your house?
But that's actually
He
You know?
needs
that's
to
kind
look
of gangster.
presidential,
That's kind of
man.
gangster. Though.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. If I could live stream from behind a podium the whole time, I totally would. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
With flags
it's
behind
just
me? That'd be cool.
But to me, like, there's nothing that says like old man who doesn't get it because Bernie gets it. Bernie has been live streaming for a while, and his stuff,
Bernie
he's just
just
sitting
he's
down.
cheap with
You
his
know,
fucking his IKEA bookcases behind him. Like
yeah,
I'm saying it's pretty cool to have a fucking podium in your basement with two American flags on the side, and you're like, blah blah. I wish he could talk, but he can't.
but see, and that's so that idea what Rogan's talking about, where like we this is revealing a lot. It is. It's revealing a lot about how because these people are not used to this. They have handlers. They have specific times, specific people who do specific things. And it's funny because I don't think a lot of Americans just don't think about what happens behind a curtain. Even just as a professor talking to my students, how uncritical they are about how the media is made, who's making these decisions. We're gonna talk about like streaming again. Netflix had that Love Is Blind show that just blew up the internet. And I
Never
have
heard of
some
it.
serious questions. You ever heard of Love Is Blind?
No.
I haven't heard of
Oh,
it either.
oh man, it's a reality show. So when you mentioned Tiger King, I just heard Tiger King the other day, like because I guess now it's like now people binge that goes over the weekend and are talking about it.
Oh
But
yeah.
Love Is Blind came out maybe like a month or a month and a half ago, and I think they were releasing episodes like weekly or something. I don't think they dropped all the episodes at once because it was kind of trickling out. Uh, but it's a reality dating show. And the reality dating show is you have men on one side of this big wall and women on the other side of the big wall, and they have pods and they don't see each other. They don't, all they can do is talk to each other to like this wall that lights up blue. So you go into the different pods and you talk to people of the opposite sex.
At what point?
Yeah.
What was the thing that hooked you, Aaron? What was like, oh my god, this is it, this is the thing?
No, so
Cause
this is so the reason why I started to watch that show was because they had a dude on it named Carlton, who was a black guy, who was also on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
The last white guy named Carlton was Carlton Fisk. After him, they never named another white guy Carlton.
Yeah, so you had this black guy on this show, Love Is Blind, and you mind you, it's
Also,
a very
we don't talk about race on this channel, Aaron. Okay, what does he have to be black? Why can't it just
well,
why can't it just
it
be
matters.
a human being? All right, I'm just
It
kidding.
matters. Well, it matters because that's how I heard about it. Because Black Twitter was just talking about this. This is when I was still on Twitter. I was like, what is Love Is Blind? And then my homegirl, who's a post producer, was like, you have to watch this episode of when he tells. So what happens on the show that you have like the first 9 days, and you have to propose to the person on the other side of the wall that you've been creating this relationship with, that you've never seen before. And then you are able to see them. And then you go on like a 4-day trip to Mexico together. You know, it's the first time that you're spending time together, like physically. So he does this with other
are they all
black
attractive?
women. You know, it's always like usually like these dudes that never as
See, then
attractive as
it's
women.
not as interesting then. You need to have like it should be matched up like some bombshell with the ugly ass dude, like fucking belly and shit, but smooth talker, like but ugly as fuck, like super ugly. Like everybody's like, this dude's ugly as fuck, but he's charming. But he's charming.
But see, that's the point. Is
And
that
then she says
you know,
yes, and then she sees him and she's
producers.
like, oh my god! What the fuck? No! Like I would watch that show.
There is something that sort of happens like that, where this white woman likes this other white guy. I guess he didn't propose to her, but he proposed to someone else, and then she saw him. And the guy that proposed to her, she was more attracted to the guy that didn't propose.
That's kind of
like,
lame. Though. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my 600-pound life.
Yes,
smooth talker, smooth talker, fucking on a fucking.
So why
bed,
does
he
that
can't
happen?
sit in a chair. He has to be on the bed. They have to bust the wall down.
So why does that happen? It doesn't happen because they're producers. There are people who get, but that's to say you don't know this. But a lot of people don't realize this. They don't realize that there's someone behind. This is what I'm talking about, like this whole Carlton thing, because Carlton's coming out about how he's bi, you know, and then Black Twitter goes and says, no, you were the gay assistant on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know, and then they pull up these they clips, you know, and I'm like, what is happening, you know? So I'm like, what? Like, so there must have been the producers must have known he was on that other reality show, you know, but they also might not. But then why would you bring him on this show where he has to be a straight guy?
Because because they're like, man, no one watched that fucking show. This is Netflix.
But that's my point. Black people, they pulled that up quick, you know, and he was like one of the, you know.
Because Netflix didn't think black people were gonna fucking watch the show. That's
Love Is Blind? Oh man.
No, yeah, they were like fucking. You know, the problem is it comes down to like because only one black person has a subscription, and then they give their login to the whole fucking family. So like Netflix is like, well, shit, only 10 black people actually subscribe to Netflix, so black people don't watch Netflix, and it turns out it's not the case because of bootleg passwords.
The only thing that my students watch, I'm like, because there's this Canopy, which is like this free streaming service you can get through the public library. It's really a great service. I think there's some great movies up there. A lot of the movies that Netflix has. And so is this on Netflix or Disney Plus? It's like the two streaming services. Like everybody, you know. And I'm like, man, like there's more than that, you know. So, but these streaming services, like, what happens if Netflix in the next month is like, yeah, we're gonna raise it by an extra dollar because with all this extra watching, we need to do whatever we need to do. We need this money to do it. You know, I'm curious to see what their numbers are like.
With it because I still have T-Mobile and they pay for my Netflix.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know. but no, like I'm curious. I want to see these numbers that these streaming companies are having. Like I'm curious,
Well,
and I'm curious on how much money they actually make off of this.
I mean, we
You know,
kind of completely got off topic, which is what I was expecting, but completely on topic. But to bring it back,
Well,
what do you
I
think is
mean,
the long term effect here? Like when, let's say things go, let's say honestly, let's start here. When do you think things are going to go back to quote unquote somewhat normal, Aaron? Like, do you end of the month, 6 months, a year? Like, what do you think?
no, normal to where we people don't. I think Corona is always going to be a part of the culture now. It's just
I
part of the
I
zeitgeist.
I agree with that, but more about like no restrictions in
Living.
terms of meeting, like no more meeting restrictions. Like things can kind of go back to normal. You can work. It's
I don't think once people get the sense, because I think the bigger issue here is that we have a president who lies about the situation, uh, and he has a big mouthpiece. And the reason I say that is because Fauci and these other doctors were saying, "Oh no, this is going to be a 6 to 8 week quarantine anyway." Like they've always been saying this. You know, he's the one who hasn't been saying it. So now, because they're talking about his press conference today, where he seemed really, really,
it's gonna be very sad, very grave,
yeah, like
very
he's
sad.
understanding the gravity of this. You know, he's no longer calling it by names other than coronavirus or COVID-19. You know, uh, so I say that because I think now people are starting to realize it. But I think, again, we the scientists don't know if you can get it once. They don't know if you actually become immune to it yet. They don't know if more strains are going to come in the next several months. There's so much we don't know. So I think as soon as some of those questions are answered, I don't think it's going to take long because people are wanting to go outside so bad. You know,
I mean,
like
Gian,
two
Gian
weeks
thinks
in.
Gian was me and him and I were talking about that he thinks you might have already gotten it,
Well, that's a possibility. That's what my
like last month.
homeboys, like in December at a homeboy of mine got really sick. His baby mom was telling me this, but I was sick too at the same time. I think they got whatever I got from him. And so, but she was saying he went to the doctor. They tested for strep. They tested for all these things, and nothing came back positive. And she was like, "Yeah, he had a fever. His throat was killing him. You know, he couldn't eat for a couple of days." And so there's a chance that the first he also works at LAX. You
See,
know,
so he could have
so
definitely seen someone then.
and he has a friend who worked at LS who actually got tested positive for it a couple of weeks ago. I remember him telling me about this. You know, this is also why when Trump was talking about how he took the COVID test, I was like, because he was like, it's just a regular test, and it's like, no, this dude is like 30 something that I know who had it, and he was talking about how terrible the test was. They have to go through her nose to test the back of your throat with like a cotton swab, essentially. You know, and that just sounds that's and Trump is like, well, it's just a test. It's like, no, it's more than that. You know,
He took the like he took a test that would always come back negative. I took the test.
yeah,
It was
you
negative.
know. So
I
I say
swabbed
that
his mouth and it wouldn't work.
because this is the time when like people have been distrusting government for a long time, and this is a time when if we had some reliable leadership who gave us accurate information and weren't like bumbling idiots, I think that the recovery after this can be a lot sooner. But if we don't trust what's coming out of the federal government, and we don't trust it because for years they've been changing information, silencing scientists, I don't know. Like I always expect it to be like when they cancel classes, which is like the middle of March, like a couple of weeks ago, 2 3 weeks ago, when they canceled the classes, and one of the schools I'm at said that they would come back April 13th potentially. I was like, I don't believe it
That's yeah. Well, not
because
now for sure.
well, not now, but
For
even
sure.
when initially they were like, we're looking to possibly try to come back on the 13th, and I was like, I said, I don't from reading
See, I don't think
about the
I think
virus.
that's why I asked. I don't think it's like August September before we actually see any sort of real traction on things.
I think if we start to see the curve being flattened, see the issue with the places like with the country like America is that people don't like to like listen. We have this independent streak about ourselves, this
Good.
individualism.
That's
You
good.
know, Well, it's good until you have these people just say going to spring break. You have these people completely ignoring this. Like I read this story about this choir in Seattle. This story is a little different because there was like this choir. They heard that the virus going
Oh,
around.
that
They sent
choir
an
thing?
email.
Oh, that shit made me fucking. That article made me laugh. It was
Would
like
you laugh?
choir practice turned deadly, and I'm like, man, what a bunch of dumbasses. Why the
Well,
fuck would you go to choir practice right now? I don't give a no,
the reason
no. There's
this is why you go. You go because you don't have somebody who has a microphone like the president saying you should not be doing this. That's why they go
well,
because we don't have a life, and that's to me that's
they
the issue.
found
I'm
out
hoping
the
one thing that
hard way.
that's but yeah, and it's sad. It's like to me, it's sad because like I saw there was something about how 63% of Fox News watchers think Trump is doing an excellent job with his Corona response. You know, it was like an excellent job, not a good job, an excellent job. So if you have people who believe this,
I mean, you have
or that,
pastors getting arrested for holding church thousand
yeah, like there was
thousand member
that dude
churches.
in Louisiana, and he was saying because it is a religious rights issue because he should have the right to have church if they can open the stores can still be open, you know. And so again, but that's America. Like that's just a part of our ethos. The reason why you
I
see what
know.
happened in
I
South
kind of
Korea is
like it though. I'm just saying.
yeah, it's it's good in many respects, but it's
Until
something like this,
that causes the country to collapse because we're like,
like
yeehaw! Just firing the guns
because
off.
had people come out and said this like a month ago that hey, you need to stay in the house. This is the issue. Which there were scientists in the government who saw this happening. You just look at what was happening in China, and you can see the implications in a country like America, where even if you quarantine someone like a city like Los Angeles, people get on planes. Like
Right?
you
No,
can't
I
tell
know.
someone not to
Yeah.
go to a different county.
Plus, if
You
plane, I
know,
mean, plane tickets are cheap as shit right now too. You're like, shit. I might
I had a
Yeah,
risk.
they
flight
are.
to
I might
Mexico
risk the.
next month for
I might risk the quarantine to go down to whatever I have. Cause shit.
for your quarantine bay.
Yeah, I'm just
You know,
saying. You know.
she's skyping you, and you're like, hey, okay, I don't mind going to what, like New Orleans now, which is a hot spot. Like, hey, I'll risk it. The flight's fifty
$69
dollars.
flight. Yeah,
Yeah,
round trip.
yeah,
But
come
no.
back messed up.
You come back with the corona. Uh, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna ask something. Just and that was funny. That made me laugh. I was gonna ask something about fuck, man. What was I gonna say? Oh well.
Well, you talk about film too. I'm thinking about filmmaking because I'm also teaching this production course. So I'm trying to figure out how do I teach a production course when the students are at home and in their house they don't have access to the stuff that makes production worthwhile. Like they don't even someone don't even have cameras. Like they have to use a cell phone, which is okay, sure, but you don't sign up for a college course to go home and use your cell phone on your kitchen table. So how do these students learn? Or some high school students that I'm teaching who need these units in order to graduate, but they may not have access to internet at home. So when I would go to the school
Well,
and teach them now,
you better give him that C, bro. You better give him that fucking C.
but that's the thing. Like this whole Corona stuff is a world of trade offs. You know. So the question, yeah, when will people feel comfortable? How much will
Well,
this
I know what I remember. What I was
retard
gonna.
some people's
I
lives?
remember what I was gonna say. I think because the choir thing, like, I'm not gonna lie. I did think the article was fucking. It made me laugh because I'm just like, I'm just shaking my head. But to be real serious about it, I think that attitude, Trump can say whatever he wants. People can believe he's positive, negative, whatever. But at the end of the day, the more this starts to affect people
Yeah,
that you know personally, whether it's
yeah.
like my friend or my good friend's friend or something like that, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Trump. I don't care what Trump's saying because right now in my immediate vicinity, this is an issue. I need to stay home
Hmm.
because X and Y people have it. Because
Hmm.
I think it's just once you, it's like everything else. It's like 9/11. Like everyone got affected by 9/11 in the United States. That's why
Mm-hmm.
everyone was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, oh fuck, you felt it. This one is
Mm-hmm.
like, you have memes and it's jokes, but then like all of a sudden when so and so, you hear about so and so celebrity getting it, and then you have another celebrity being like, oh man, we should, take this serious, because, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden my friends have it now. I gotta take it serious, and I think that's what's
Yeah,
going on now.
yeah. There was this.
I
I don't
mean,
know if
like I
you
already
saw.
said, I don't know about you, if you have anyone in your circle that has tested positive, but on my end, I know 4 people now, like that I
Wow.
personally know have
Where
tested
are they?
positive, and
Are they in the Bay or are they in
uh,
LA?
oh, one is in Hawaii, and the other
Mm.
3 are in LA. Yeah,
Mm.
all white though. That's the connection I'm trying. It doesn't seem to be affecting brown people so far.
Well, no, I guarantee you it is. We just don't have insurance and stuff to go and or have access to these tests. Like I just heard that, like the teenager who died, he guess he went to the hospital, but he didn't have insurance, so they turned him away. You know,
I thought
which
everyone's
is,
allowed to get the test now.
but this is before,
Oh, before.
like they, and so if or imagine you're like an immigrant and you're like, yeah, I may have it, but it will be worse if I maybe go to the doctor and they deport me again. Like this is what happens when you have this atmosphere of terror going
But
around
there's
people.
there's also, pues si tengo la corona, dame 2 tequilas y un buen menudo, and I'm gonna be good on Sunday.
Yeah, there's totally
About
people
that.
who just say like, just drink alcohol, just drink whiskey. I think I read that in an article. Like,
Or
oh,
drink bleach.
no,
Did you
no,
hear about
no.
people
The
who
the
drink?
the Bella. Fuck. I need to hold on. Keep talking. Keep talking. I need to send myself this article and I'll post it on the thing when we're doing the live stream. But yeah,
Yeah,
just ignore me.
I'm actually looking for this meme that a friend sent me about Corona, about how like in February you felt this way about it, and then like as the days keep going and it gets closer, like, oh man, this is actually like serious. I'm gonna find this and post it in the chat. Um, because I think that's how a lot of people like in places like LA and New York is a little different because our governors kind of jumped on it early, at least a lot sooner than like some of these other governors still haven't even told people to stay home. You know,
It's
which is
slowly
just
happening though. Everyone's telling everyone is finally getting on board. So the
Look, man. When it was going down, when it first started getting leaked, like end of January, I was at LAX picking people up, and I was like, oh shit! If I see fucking Asian people with masks on, I'm just gonna keep driving. Like, I'm actually, I've gotten, a lot of people will not. A lot of people will tell you they can't tell the difference. I've gotten pretty good at telling the difference between the different Asians out there. So I usually knew if someone was Chinese or not, and I would be like, and not knowing that by the time we heard about it here, it had already hit Korea and Japan,
so everyone
and
kind
it
of
was
already
already
had it.
and it was already slowly creeping into Europe. So like I was like fucking like I was just worried. I was like, as long as I don't you know, as long as I don't get these last few people coming back from China, I should. And then now it's like, well, fuck it, it didn't matter. It really didn't matter.
well, this is what's interesting to me too about Korea and how well they've been able to handle it, which they don't know if it's going to have another spike, but they've been
But
able
so far they're
to.
handling it the best. Yeah.
And part of it was the testing that we failed on, but also just we have to talk about the cultural differences because Koreans, like I would when I was teaching there, I was surprised when students would come in class with just masks on. If you had any kind of sick, if you were sick a little bit, that's what you just went and got a mask because that was your way of protecting your community against it. So culturally, that's something that Asians do.
I know.
Also, there's not a lot of handshaking
In America, they
too.
in America when you see someone with a mask, you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that was my response when I first started, and I was like, "Why are you wearing masks in class?" And I was
Am
like,
I sick? Am
like,
I
"What?"
gonna die
You
now?
know? Yeah, and they would tell you because they may have like a cough or because they didn't do their makeup. So there were like reasons why but the masks were not uncommon. Where you would just put on a medical mask. And again, there's no hand. They don't shake hands as well. Like there's a lot of like there's no hugging. Like so that idea of like that the space is a little different. Mind you, people would like stand closer to me than I was comfortable with as an American. You know, uh, but I think those things need to
There's no
be
handshaking.
okay.
There's no hugging. You get on a fucking bus and they will sit right next to you, even though there's three open seats. Motherfucker will sit on in your fucking lap, even though
Well,
there's all in the
I had
fucking bus.
students, I had male students who would sit on other male students' laps in class because that kind of like physical touch, like again, as an American, that's not what we do. But they would hold hands and they would do these other things. Um, but
No,
as but as
rub your ass on my dick. It's all good. No homo.
I think like culturally we're just different, and so for me that was part of like the culture shock. But I say that because I wonder what that culture of wearing masks, and being conscious of like shaking someone's hand and not doing that. Like I wonder how much that helped mitigate things a lot because now
Right.
what they're saying now is that we may have to start wearing masks in public. It's nice to say, but people can't even get them. So I don't even know why I even say it at this point. You know.
Yeah, I saw this morning like that CDC might recommend like that everyone wears masks, and then like a note underneath was like make your own masks at home. Like what the fuck? Are you serious? Like that's our next video is how to make
America.
Well,
masks.
I have a sewing machine. I've been thinking about doing that for the last like week. So my issue is I have to get materials. Does that mean I got to go out to get the materials for this?
Nah, bro,
Or can I?
your old shirt, bro. Use it
Well, see,
like
yeah, because I think Trump mentioned like wearing like putting scarves or
But what if
handkerchiefs in your face.
what if you're homeless? Does that mean they get provided for them? And then I'm gonna say, as a non-homeless person, why did the
No.
homeless people get it, and why can't I get one?
hey man, I'm telling you, bro, the homeless people are not gonna get this shit
Then
because
what?
they
What? Corona?
look at it this way.
Because they
We
built up
already
all their
stay the fuck.
immunities so much.
Well, no, more along the lines of like we already stay the fuck away from homeless people. Like we see a homeless person and we try to walk around them
Sure.
rather than next to them. And now fucking even more. And now they can't chill at fucking Starbucks and fucking use the fucking restroom for 40 minutes because Starbucks ain't got nobody going in. You know what I
But
mean? So the only place you're gonna run into homeless people is at 7-Eleven. That's the only place. In the 7-Eleven parking lots is the only place you can run into
or
homeless people right now.
or on the bus because they ride the bus and they touch the bus stuff. you know, or at the store because they still have to buy stuff to eat at times when they have money. It's like that's the thing about like no one's protected.
I don't know about Compton, Aaron, but where I live, homeless people do not go inside of the fucking grocery store. All
It's
right,
I have
they get
seen
all they get
I
their
have
shit.
seen a
They get
couple at the
catered.
Target here in Compton.
It's fucking.
I've seen a couple inside
I mean,
shopping.
I mean, they might be going in there. They might be going in there now because that's the only place they can use a restroom. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's the
that's
only place they
crazy
can take
too.
their fucking sink baths at is at Target. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because also since the libraries are closed, because
Right.
like public libraries, they were a place where homeless would, especially during the recession, because everything else was closing. So the only place where they can like hang out and not get harassed, it's the only public place that you can go. There's a library that's indoors, and now that's closed.
Right.
You know, so again, like that's the thing. Like there's
I got a question. So last night, and this is why I was laughing so much because I was thinking about it. Last night when I was driving home from the shop, I was got on the getting off the freeway, excuse me, and then like this homeless guy was like just kind of, I don't know, under normal circumstances I wouldn't have thought anything, But then with this corona, like my mind, I was treating him like he had the fucking rage virus, and he was gonna fucking. And I like locked my door. I was just like, man, I don't know if he's like gonna try to rob me now, like, cause he needs resources, cause he doesn't have fucking shit. Like,
I had a run-in with a guy. He wasn't homeless at all. So on Sunday, I was
That's
going.
hilarious that your mind went to there. Like this whole time, I'm thinking of like, we're not walking around now, so has like the like amount of shit on the street gone up? Or like more people. That's where I was thinking. Like, are more homeless people shitting in the middle of the street now because we're not like driving around so much and we're not fucking
do you think
walking
it's?
around to see it? Maybe. But I mean,
I'm
it was
not
like
out.
measure it. Who was
Man, I
measuring
said,
it?
who's outside to see that? You know, I was driving to drop off some tools. A friend of mine needed like a wrench on Sunday, and this guy was on the side of the highway, like waving people down. I was like, okay, maybe he needs some gas or something. I've done this. I've done this before, you know. So I pull over, you know, and he comes to the window,
Oh shit! I wouldn't have
and
done
he
that. I would have
starts.
drove right off.
What's the thing? Like I didn't think about Corona in that moment. Just like where like it took you a minute because you sometimes I just wasn't thinking about the world we live in now. You know, so I'm like, you need some gas money or something? Get some help, get some gas. And then he's telling me how he needs to gas money and how he's trying to get his family back to Saudi Arabia or this and that. And then he's like, his dad came out the car there like a white Escalade, and they started to take off their chains and stuff, and was like,
What?
can you loan me $2,000? And I'm not even joking. Can you loan me $2,000 so that we could get back to Saudi Arabia? He said, and then he was on like FaceTime, and he had like three other people he was showing me. You know, and I was like, man, I don't. Do y'all need? I was trying to figure. Do y'all need gas money? Like how much? I said $2,000. And then mind you,
Man.
this is after I already had agreed also to like drive him to the gas station. He told me this stuff, and I'm on speakerphone with my homeboy. He's like, man, what the hell is happening here? You know, I said, I'm like, you know, so I'm not like afraid to just do the or son at all. You know, so then I know it. Long story short,
My friend, I need $2,000 to go back to Saudi Arabia. My friend,
I was.
tell
And
him
he,
take my chain, my friend. Take my chain.
he was giving me his chains, he was giving me his watch, and he was like, you going this? Well, when I get back, I will pay you twice as much when I get it back, you know, and all this stuff. And then so I ended up giving him $40. He had so it was his dad, his mom, one of his younger sons, and two more kids
You're
in
gonna
the
give me
back.
80. All right, it's gonna be 80. Right when you come back, it's gonna be
I'm
80.
a, in fact, I'm a grab this chain because I think it's a real chain. I weighed like 40.
He gave you a chain?
Gave me a goddamn chain.
You should have gave
Please,
sounds like you should have gave him
please,
the
Habibi,
sounds
Habibi,
like
please take my chain, please.
he gave you
You
that.
know, yeah, it says 18 karat gold on it. You know, on the inside of it. Where did I see that? And I was like, I said, even if this isn't real, $40 for this, it looks like I don't wear jewelry like that, so I don't know what's real or not. But it says, I don't know if you even see that, but probably too shiny. But it
It
says
sounds like
18
you
karat.
it sounds like you should have gave him the 2000.
It was funny because my boy was like, "What you doing?" So my homegirl was like, "It's like so you just bought a chain essentially," and I was like, I said, I guess so. But it was funny because at first I was like, okay, this is whatever. Like I've helped people on the side of the street. I've given people rides. I've given people gas money before. Like if I'm gonna help out, if I need some help, I will hope someone would do that for me. But then when he got in the car, I started thinking, I said, oh shit, this is Corona world, man. He's like, that was the first person, that was the first person I had been within 6 feet of, you know, because I went to the grocery store on Thursday and everybody was just like eyeballing each other, like making sure the space was kept. I remember this one time, me and this other woman had this other woman across from us with our carts, and we all just like paused, like who's gonna go? And the woman just like went through between us like a running back through like a three hole or something.
Don't infect me.
I mean, and so this dude is somewhere getting back, and I'm driving like, oh my god, he could have corona, man. He also looked like a person who, like that age, he looked older, so he looked
See
like he would
this
be in the
this
risk pool. So if he had it, he probably would have been like fucked up,
this just
you know. But
proves
yeah,
to me
got
that
a
you
chain
don't
out of it.
this proves to me you don't play video games because like right away I'm like, oh no, there's a guy on the side of the road. He wants help. Don't help him because he'll pull a gun on you. He'll try to rob you. Like you shoot
That's the
that
thing.
guy.
Like that's that's
and then
my homegirl said that first too.
and
She was
then
like,
you
"You
and then
robbed him?" I said, "I didn't steal this. I didn't steal anything from this dude."
and
You
then you check their body after you kill them. And if they have a gun, you're like, shit, whoo. And if they don't, you're like, whoops.
It was just he was talking about $2,000, and I was like, I told him, I said, man, I don't know. I said, this is not like L.A. No one's giving you $2,000. They don't know you like that. People who know you not giving you $2,000, especially on the side of the highway. This is the 105 in Central, right up like between L.A. and Compton. You know, I was like, well, I even asked him. I said, what are y'all doing over here?
Yeah, but
You know,
Saudis
he's
are
a tourist.
owning the oil market again. So like I said, you should have gave them that $2,000.
Like I had $2,000.
You should have
What
just
kind of
said.
shoes did they
You
have
should have
on?
just
What
said,
kind of
hey,
shoes did they have?
I'll buy your
He
ticket.
had
I'll buy your plane ticket because it'll probably
he
cost
had
less than $2,000.
Well, that's probably true. Because I was like, why do you even need that much money? I was confused.
It's
You know,
Corona.
uh,
It's
uh,
$59.
I was like, what is happening? He had on what looked like they were some loafers, like driving mocks, and they were black with like the silver. Like I could find some like similar looking shoes. Like this, like they look like a type of Gucci shoe, but I don't know if they were Gucci or not. You know, because I just couldn't see. I wasn't
He
that
was
close to it.
wearing
But they
Gucci
were
sandals.
he had on some driving moccasins, you know, in the way that like these prep people wear driving moccasins. So I don't know. And when they started taking off the jewelry, a whole bunch of jewelry on. It was just, and I was like, y'all on the side of the street. I said, y'all, I'm thinking, y'all gonna get people, someone like real to come here and rob you. I'm not even trying to rob you. I was actually trying to get it back to him, and his dad was like, give him your ring too. Yeah, exactly. You know?
maybe they got robbed, and
God
they got
damn,
broke down.
fucking Eric
He
kicked up
said
like the
he
fucking
lost his
royal
wallet.
family.
That's because what he was saying was that he didn't bring his position, but he lost his wallet. His wallet. He said he lost his wallet, so he doesn't. I was like, it just would sound weird, but
Why did
you
he go to
know,
the pawn
and
shop with all that gold?
that's what
He's
I
on
thought
the
after the fact.
105.
Because he's part of the royal family. They don't fucking pawn shit. They don't even know what a pawn shop is, man.
I thought the same thing after the fact. I said, man, why didn't you go to a pawn shop? So they may not even know what a pawn shop is, or even that they're open. Because I passed one coming back from college, from my school, and it's open.
Of course it's open.
Of course it is. Of course, because the pawn shop, they got like that.
They got that glass.
8-inch thick bulletproof glass. They got that little window on the bottom.
No Corona's getting in there.
No way, that shit is fucking airtight. They're good to go. You know. Okay. Here's the test. Okay. How many names did this guy give you when he was like, when you're like, how you doing? I'm Aaron. Was he like, hello, my name is Abdul Aziz Al Ahmed Khalil?
He said his name, but he was much more frantic than that. It was
17. Okay, so you
it was
more.
it was definitely more than one name. He even said what Aslam Lakem to me because he's Muslim, and he was talking about, and he kept telling me how much he like loves black people because he was so happy that I pulled over. He's like, yeah, I love black people. I'm not looking this up.
My friend, I love black people.
Yes,
Get it bad rap.
that's
You guys get
yes.
bad rap. I love black people.
I'm telling you, he was.
Great. They are great, wonderful.
This is how the Saudis decided to like teach their people to like get things from black people. They're like, tell them this, tell them this.
That this random dude put over and gave him $40.
They won't know what to do. They won't know what to do.
And he gave me some change. So, but again, like what got me was as soon as when I was driving in my car and his son was in that Escalade following us. I was like, my God! I said, I just broke this fucking 6 foot stuff for the first time, and like, he's in a car with me, and all I was just so nervous about. Yep, this is how it ends, Aaron. This is the start of the end.
They're about to do a Turkish guy on you.
What Turkish guy?
The Turkish reporter, the Saudis that like, you didn't hear about that? The
Oh,
Saudis
what
that like
happened?
murdered this Turkish consulate reporter guy or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Jamal Khashoggi, yeah. Oh hell no! Now this shit is on the internet. They're gonna be like, "This is where that guy is." Luckily, I use a VPN, so have fun with that. I'm in Vegas right now, you guys. So
Oh,
you
you go to
know.
Vegas? I go to another country. I don't even bother to fuck with America.
Uh, yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This is a fascinating time. It's like this is a time to be a documentary filmmaker. You know, because my question is, I'm curious to what type of art comes out of this. I read an article in LA Times about how the Black Plague, changed art. You know, so the question is like, how does this change art? How does it change the way people make films? Like, who's going to make that first Corona film that's actually good? You know,
I don't
This
know
is true.
who do you think will do it?
I don't know. I don't know like who has.
Who would you want to
I
see do
don't.
it?
Well, Paul Thomas Anderson. Because I would have.
He's doing a high school movie. He's doing a 600-page high school movie right now.
Honestly, somebody that I think would do this in a very interesting way. And of course, I'm a Spike Lee fan. But I think about Spike Lee because I think about what he did with Summer Sam and what he did with 25th Hour. How Summer
Make it
Sam
about race? Make the whole thing about race?
no, 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 that is what Summer Sam. I'm sure you've seen Summer Sam,
Yeah.
right? Because and so the movie is like there's this ethos around everybody about this killer, but it's not. That's not what their daily lives are about. Their daily lives are about like these romances and like making money.
Hot ass
You
summer.
know,
Summer's hot as fuck. Everyone's
yeah,
sweating.
and even 25th Hour was made in the wake of 9/11, and they referenced the film, but the movie's not about 9/11. You know, and so I think that's like the type of no one. I don't think people want to sit back and watch a movie about somebody being in the house for 2 weeks or like 2 months. Like I don't know. I think it has.
Nobody's gonna do it better than the vloggers already. We'll see when they come out with their fucking coronavirus vlog.
And that's the thing. Like there will be contemporaneous accounts of this, what people are going through. Like someone asked me, like, why don't you like make a movie about it? I said, what is it to make a movie about? Me going to my office to teach kids online. You know,
That's a movie.
like I I guess there's no conflict in that. The conflict is, will I wake up early enough because I drank too much? Because what else is there to damn do? You know, to get up in time to go to class.
I'm writing a movie right now about how a monster in the house film where my 2-year-old is the monster.
See, see, that's like Eraserhead. David Lynch making a movie about being a father, you know, and it's like really, but it's like yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible
it's
example because that
my
movie
son.
sucks, but it's okay.
I love Eraserhead.
No, it's trash. I watched that new short film that David Lynch did. It pissed me off so much. That one on Netflix where he talks to a fucking monkey for 17 minutes.
Oh, Netflix right now?
Yes, man, that movie.
Okay.
That movie
Now I know
epitomizes
how much
why.
later tonight.
Yeah, you will. I bet you will. 17 minutes of him talking to a monkey with a fucking face superimposed on the monkey's face.
So good.
And they both say some dumbass shit to each other. They don't even have coherent conversation. They just say like random sentences to one another, just cutting back. Like you were at that barn, and then the monkey's like, I was 2 years old when I was born. Like shit like that. Like they don't even make fucking sense.
I love it.
And it's in black and white.
He has a movie called The Amputee, which is like the short film, and it's a voiceover of this woman, like in one shot of this woman that's in, I guess, her hospital chair, writing this love letter about some guy that broke her heart. He's like, and then when I saw you two together, and then this male nurse comes in and starts to go at her wounds, like blood starts gushing out, and she's like writing this like benign love letter about how angry she is that he cheated on her or something, you know. And I think it's so good.
I do wish he directed the last Star Wars movie though, because
that would have been fun.
People would have been mad.
Darth Vader I would have seen it.
Yeah, Darth Vader would have just been like floating somewhere for no reason.
That's the thing. Like,
the movie would have been about the Ewoks, like the fucking monkeys, they would have just been playing with each other, like, about their life. Luke Skywalker would be in the background, like, straight up out of focus in shots.
Out of focus. That was out of focus. I would have loved it. That would have been so good. And that's like honestly, I'm curious to like because we won't get these movies. So we talk about movies. We won't get these films for another year or so. You know,
No, we're gonna. This. You know, I've been thinking about it, like with all these productions getting shut down and whatnot. Like, there's gonna be this huge gap of like where there's no new shit coming out. Like, not even the reality stuff. You know, well, the first thing once everything gets like goes back to normal, the reality TV is gonna start pumping out all kinds of shit immediately, and they're gonna fill the gap. But
I want to pause for 1 second, just interject. They are still shooting reality TV.
What?
People like
Who?
no, I'm serious. I read an article about it. Not all productions, but like I know we were making fun of this, but like My 600 Pound Life, there's those people are. It's like 1 or 2 man crews, and they're following these people around, and they're just staying with it, and they're following them. I don't know about this show specifically, but like to both produce content for continuous stuff right now, but also to have like a Corona outlook on these reality shows where they can like piece it together of like for My 600 Pound Life, how is Corona affecting? Like you can have multiple products off the one fucking thing. But
And
I'm
they
just
all
saying,
at risk.
like you think
shit, not even coronavirus has shut down these reality programs.
you think Kim Kardashian doesn't have someone following her around right now, like a solo shooter, someone that they fucking trust that lives at the house anyway.
Well, see, but that's what they're going to do. That's the difference. Like, you're asking someone on 600 pound, My 600 Pound Life, who's like a freelancer or someone like for hire.
First of all, they might die because 600 Pound Life, they need food. And everyone's under quarantine. And I'm not talking about, like, either of them could die. The 600 Pound Life, the person could die. The fucking, the camera guy could die.
So you're asking me to go live in someone's house with this stuff? Nope. But people, I know that people are going to do it, you know, because if you have to eat, you have to eat. You know, so I just think it's irresponsible for the show. Like, there was a producer for CBS News, I think, who just died of corona. There was a sound engineer, I think, who died of corona too for like CBS or NBC one. I think it was NBC. You know, like, yeah, like this stuff is not. And that's crazy. That reality is still going.
But what were you saying, Gian? I just wanted to let you know that there are shooting reality still.
It's crazy.
Oh, I'm just saying that we're definitely gonna hit a certain point. Yeah, there's gonna be a gap where there's nothing. And I mean, that's where sports comes in and fills that gap. You know, like it's gonna be a great time to watch live sports.
Are you gonna watch football, Aaron? When that's the only one? That's the only sport on television.
It won't be the only sport on television because if the football's back, then baseball will be back too.
I guess that's true.
You know, I'm trying to watch Mookie Betts win the World Series as a Dodger.
I want to see him play.
It's okay.
I just want to see me too.
Well, I did see him play at spring training. I saw him get 2 hits, so that might be the only time that anyone sees him play.
That you see him, in a Dodgers uniform. That's the truth. Because this season can come and go, and they may not play a game.
Yep.
And then he's a free agent.
Yep. They already determined that too. That's fucked up. But whatever, I get it.
I just read something where NBA players get paid, I think, on a weekly basis or something like that. You know,
yeah, their paycheck's going to be like this is their last paycheck for the week. This week is the last paycheck. So they play it. They're already talking about their. I was listening to a sports talk show yesterday, and they were talking about how they're already like making plans to try to figure out how they could keep the season going again or to start the playoffs with like no audiences, like, and maybe only like basically only holding all the games tournament style at the same facility. So it's like one of those things where everybody comes in. You're locked in. Yeah. The only issue would be like the film crew, because the film crews are like on top of each other for these things, you know.
Well,
when they set up
they gotta get
station, they're like shoulder to shoulder.
Vegas is the only place that you can do this.
The issue becomes Where could they
NBA
shoot without a
obviously gets the
union?
tests.
Because then you could just
Well,
have
that is
robocams. You could just have robocams for
Well,
everything.
they were they're bringing up they like maybe holding it here in LA, like because the Lakers have that facility in El Segundo. Um, you know what I mean? Like
but
those type
that's
of facilities.
but see even then you still got to shuttle folk from the arena to the hotel. You know, because I used to look something like Vegas, like the MGM. I think some of these places have all that stuff built in. You know, where you could probably do some stuff like at least stay in the same facility. But
Mm-hmm.
I still think that's like the ratings will be high because no one else has in like people. I'm feeling for this stuff. I was watching Roy Holiday's no hitter in the playoffs because MLB was streaming it live on the YouTube channel, which I think that's interesting what these sports channels are doing because the NBA every day at 5 p.m. Pacific time they've been streaming old games like
Classic
these.
games, yeah.
Yeah, I watched Jordan's 55 game at Madison Square Saturday night because what else am I gonna do? And it's still entertaining, So like this is why when Trump talks about his ratings being so high, like he's mistaking the fact that people are watching because A, they want to know if they're gonna live or die, and then B, they're at home, so of
Mm-hmm.
course they're watching, you know. Yeah, I don't that's the question is also like how quickly can productions go back up? Because a lot of people that I know who are producers are that they're still working. Like
Well,
if you work for a show,
it all depends on how long the whole thing lasts.
yeah,
If it's 3 months, they probably the big boys they're gonna be able to go right back to work because they've already been working like Zoom calls and all these other things all the time.
yeah,
And
or they just start back in the fall. They'll be like, okay, let's come back full bore in the fall.
I
You know,
mean, the other issue at hand as well is tests. Like we need to get enough tests to make sure you can test your entire fucking staff to make sure that everyone comes out negative. You know what I
but even
mean?
a negative test,
Uh,
it only lasts until you run into the homeless person on the bus. You know,
God damn it, we're already avoiding them. Okay,
no,
we already
no,
discussed that.
but no, the point I'm making though is that like people can get this test and then they can go
It's
out
almost
and they catch the virus. You
the
know?
this is I don't know how many people are gonna have to die for people to take this shit serious because
No,
that's
yeah,
really like
it's true.
it's distrust. It's invoking trust in people to not go and make a bad decision afterward. You know what I mean? And that's really like that's the reason why this shit spread more than anything else. Is for a number of reasons, but one, people making bad decisions after work or whatever. One too is, and I was talking to my wife about this. Like, I feel like this is when we need a big restructuring with PTO at work. You know what I mean?
So yeah,
I shouldn't have to fucking go into work if I'm sick. And there's plenty of people out there, myself included, but like even if we weren't feeling good, still gotta go make fucking money. Because if not, I'm not gonna be able to pay the fucking the light bill. I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent. So this is a
yeah.
system where we like, I'm dying, but I still have to go into work has to fucking stop. You know?
Well, it's funny because people talk about why Australians are always traveling everywhere. It's because they have strong services.
we
They
gotta
have they have
we gotta go out
days
looking
off.
like this. This is how you avoid the homeless people problem. Yeah,
I have not seen that movie.
you should. It's relevant. Oh, Aaron sent a meme too. I can put that on the screen. Let's see. It's true too.
Because I watched a couple of pandemic films. The one I liked the most, I mentioned this when you guys were doing one of your live streams, was Panic in the Streets. It's a 1950s Elie Kazan film. And what it's about is like, this is what I'm saying, like, it's a movie that's about a pandemic, but it revolves around this murder because the public health official realizes what's happening. early on, and now they're trying to solve this murder in like 48 hours before these murderers don't even know that they probably caught the Black Plague. Really, is what it was. It was the pneumatic plague. So just by talking to people, that you can get it. So if you're around them, you probably had it. So the public health official is trying to work with the cops to try to find this guy or these guys who killed this guy who they opened him up and they saw that he has the plague before it just spreads into the whole city. And it's funny, it takes place in New Orleans.
Yep, Panic in the Streets. 1950. Film noir.
Really good. It's really good. You know, like I also watched Nosferatu recently because I had my students watch it, so I said I guess I should watch it again. And they deal with a plague in it too because they think that the vampire they don't know that the vampire is a vampire. They just think all these people keep dying, so it must be the
Right.
plague. So they do the same thing. They're like shutter your doors, so they're doing the same thing. Like 150 years ago, the movie takes place in like the 1800s that we're doing now,
I
which is
think
like damn, should be better.
I think what's gonna you're gonna see a rise in, like, I think World War Z two is gonna get greenlit again. I think you're gonna see zombie
Mm,
movies come back
maybe yeah, yeah.
because you can
I heard
you can kind of play with it a little bit.
yeah. One
Wow.
doctor said something like
There's a
imagine
reason
a
why they're
zombie
burning all
where
the
you couldn't see
bodies.
the zombies. Are they? The burning?
I think Gion's
Yeah.
just saying that. I don't know. Maybe not.
No, everybody's getting cremated.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
cremated.
cremating
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, we were talking about this the other day that they're even the mortuaries are full now because, like, people
Yeah.
people think that you can just cremate a bunch of bodies at once, but you can only do like 5 to 10 in one day because of the way the machine
Let me
works. And then as I
give
told
me a shot, bro.
and then as I told Gian, I didn't know this, that when you burn a body, it just burns the flesh off. Like when you get an urn with ashes, and they cremate you, they just burn your flesh and your organs and stuff. Your bones don't burn. They have to crush them.
That sounds
They crush the
damn.
bones to a powder, and then they gather all of that. So like you get some ash, but it's like bones and shit too. But you're not they're not, like,
Wow.
yeah, you don't even get your bones cremated. I didn't know that. I read it. I learned it during Corona because they were talking about it. That's why it takes so long, because they can't just fucking, like, oh, here's a skeleton, let's just wipe it off. Like, they gotta finish the process
Mm.
because it's a
And
service.
that's
Like, we gotta say, here's your dead body, here's your fucking your dad or your brother or whoever. Like, they're not gonna just be like, oh yeah, we just started crushing all of them. Like, fuck it, whatever. I mean, they could, but that's not right. People are gonna get sued in this country for sure.
definitely, definitely. Like they were saying that you could see mass graves from Iran. I think they're saying like there's some country where you could just see like the mass graves of the bodies from this virus from space. I guess from like the satellites and something like that.
Space.
You know, and
That's fucking
it's
crazy.
again like Americans, like I've been following this news about this thing for since for weeks, and you see Americans not quite, at least in LA is a little different, but other parts of the country, like there was an article in the LA Times about this dude who's 30 years old. He worked at Waffle House until he lost his job because they closed down. He got corona. This dude was on a respirator. He had to get quarantined in a certain part of Georgia because he lived with a roommate and he couldn't get quarantined there because he would give it to his roommate because he didn't have any money. And then this fool had the audacity to say that it's not that bad. I don't know why the country's freaking out. You know, when he was on a he was on a respirator, for several days.
Well,
You
mama
know,
didn't raise no bitch. That's why.
like so like that's if people want to know what Americans are like. That's a great
Who do you
example.
think he
You know,
voted
he's
for?
also a Trump supporter.
I was
No,
gonna
he
say.
said he's a Trump supporter. His dad's a Trump supporter. He was saying that he's not as big of a Trump supporter as his dad because he was saying his dad said that if it came to it, he would be in the front lines fighting for Trump.
who
And I was like, that is first off,
who
there is not one politician that I would say that about in my
who
life. I just
who do you think is gonna be at the State of the Union address next year? Then that guy, the Waffle House
Trump.
employee. No, the Waffle House
Oh,
guy.
the waffle.
When he has the Corona
Maybe.
State of the Union, they're like, "Look at my." Is he a black guy?
No, he's a
Oh.
white
Oh,
guy.
okay. Never mind then. If it was black, it'd be perfect.
Look at my African American over there, huh?
From Waffle
Who
House.
survived Corona. Man, it's just, but that's like that to me. That was I said, yeah, that is to me that is America. That is too much of America. And then there are other Americans who are just frightened, who are just frightened and don't know, like what's
Well,
going
you
to
know
happen.
the problem is it's just so fucking inconsistent. The results we're getting from this shit. Like,
Yeah,
you get one person getting fucking put on a ventilator. You get people getting intubated. Then you got another person who's like, I just had a really bad cold for fucking 4 weeks. You
yeah,
know, it wasn't so bad. And there's no rhyme or reason behind it either. It's not like there's a target demographic. The only thing that's consistent is people that are immunocompromised and older people who tend to be immunocompromised
compromise
anyway
anyway.
because they're,
Yeah,
yeah, they're the ones that are dying. That's what we know for sure. But like everything in between is we got young people getting fucked. We got older people. We got older people in the middle-aged people get sick, and it's varying. Like a 50-year-old guy will walk out like, "Oh, I didn't realize." It will be asymptomatic. Okay, what's fucking Idris Elba? Asymptomatic, nothing. Then you got another one. You got a 19-year-old. But then you got a 19-year-old who's fucking on their deathbed with this shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's so inconsistent. And nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and that's what's scary about it more than anything. It's not you can't get a grasp of it. Like you just can't. You don't know who to believe either because every doctor and every hospital is having a different story to tell about it. You know what I mean? Really, what it comes down to is we still don't have enough tests. It's one of those things where like look, I know somebody, his wife tested positive a few days ago. He's not showing any symptoms. They're not going to give him a test. We don't have any symptoms, so we can't give you a test because we don't have enough of the test.
And that's not good.
So who knows? That's not good because who knows
How
how
many more
many
people? How many more
are
people
out
are you
there?
going to be infecting just by not being?
Yeah.
Well, that's also like not only because of the amount of tests, but part of the reason why the tests are falling with the shortage is because they have supply line issues. Because like there are certain chemicals that you need for this test, and some of these places are running out of like a specific chemical or another chemical, so they're unable to actually perform all. This is why they had these guidelines because they don't have the number of tests, and they're running out of chemicals in some cases to even perform the test. And there are cases of also false negatives and false positives or false negatives I definitely know about where come back negative, but people are like, I just listened to Ross Douthat, who's a writer for the New York Times, a conservative writer too, and he was saying he thinks he might have had it. He got tested, his family did too. But he was like, he said, I'm like a 40-year-old man. I've had colds before, but I've never had something where I couldn't breathe. Where I'm reading stories to my kids and I'm running out of breath. If it feels as if I like ran up flights of stairs, but my test came back negative, you know, and I'm like, yeah, like how do you talk to someone's personal experience like that? Like we don't know, and it doesn't look like we'll have the testing capabilities that South Korea has. Their per capita test is like they say like 40 times what we're doing. Something like that. It's like ridiculous.
Well, what do
And
you
they have drive-through test centers.
what do you think of this as a solution? Because the president of Belarus believes that the cure of coronavirus lies in vodka and saunas. That's what he said. It's better to be it's better to die standing. It's better to die standing, live on your knees. He was quoting the Mexican revolutionary Emiliano Zapata. And he says there's no viruses here as after he finished his ice hockey game.
Okay, I'm gonna elect him in 6 months. Just like Boris Johnson talking about something, he's gonna keep shaking hands, and then next thing you know, he's on his IG live talking about he has corona. You know, it's like you can run from science as much as you want, but science is gonna catch that ass at the end of the day. Like there's only so far that you can do, so much you can do. I think it's.
He said, I quote, people should not only wash their hands with vodka, but also poison the virus with it. You should drink the equivalent of 40 to 50 milliliters of vodka daily, but not at work. Yep. And then after doing that, go to a Russian style sauna 2 or 3 times a week. When you come out of the sauna, not only wash your hands but also your insides with 100 milliliters of vodka.
So they say to kill viruses, you need like 60, 70% alcohol, like in the hand sanitizer and stuff. So I don't know what proof the vodka is in
In
Belarus.
Belarus, they might have the good shit.
Yeah. So they may have, they may have like what that would be like 140 proof.
I
Like how do you drink
Yeah,
that?
you
well,
don't.
you have to drink. You drink 50 milliliters during the
No,
day, and then after the sauna,
you
you drink
double
100
up.
more.
You double up
How
on the
much is that? Like
fucking
a
forty
shot?
percent. Two
It's a shot.
shots of 40%, man, is 80% alcohol right there.
That's that good math right there.
That's our bro science,
Or you
man. It
or
always
you
works.
or you make it 3 to be safe.
Oh,
You
look at
just
three.
triple it.
Oh man, I'm telling you, like this. I bought this a couple of like 2 weeks ago. Now we down to like a little bit.
I'm
Cause
not impressed, bro. 2 weeks ago and you're still not done. Come on, get fucking.
well,
See,
I've had some
my
beers, but
sister is
Gin's
like
good too.
my sister's drinking like fucking 3 cocktails at least a night, man. They're him
I'm trying
at
to not
her
to do
house.
that.
They're burning through that shit, bro.
Like
Me,
what else is there to do?
Smoke weed.
Watch and watch the David Lynch movies. I've been
What
doing that too.
monkeys?
my
I'm watching them. Telling them watch tonight.
I know you are.
my
I'm gonna
my
receive that as a
sis.
text from you later. Ha!
Best David Lynch movie ever. Better than Blue Velvet. Better than Eraserhead. I really think Eraserhead is a classic.
You're gonna show it to your film students. That's they're gonna be their assignment. Go on Netflix right now.
Watch
Give me a report on that.
it.
I
Yeah.
got I don't so I hate to cut this short, but it's almost 12:30. I don't know if you guys want to keep going, but I gotta
No, we'll wrap.
I
We'll
gotta
wrap it.
wrap
I mean,
this
this
up.
is. I'm sure we can do this more often than not. I mean, shit, I ain't got shit else to do. So.
Yeah.
I'll be on campus. That's what I do. I sit in that little office that I have
So the
that
school's
you've
still
seen.
open?
No, so I had to get special permission, and it's the reason I told them is that I don't have good internet at home, which is true. I'm on Zoom with like 30 students in some cases,
So you
and
have
I'm
to have
showing
to
them
go in like an
slides.
hour or something, and then they let you out.
No, no, I can go in as long as I have to be off. They want me off campus by 4:30, which is hard. One of my classes ends at 5, so I still kind of push it. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna stay there to 5, but yeah, no, they just like I just drive on now. At first, they had a clipboard that they would give you to sign in, and I would take the clipboard, but I always have a pen on me, so like, I'm trying to reduce my contact. I don't know who be touching the clipboard. But now I just drive on. I go to my little office. No one's over. I don't see anybody except for the guard person who's asking me where I'm going on campus. That's the only first person I interact with. You know, so I self quarantine on campus at times.
Well, that's we'll have
You
to
know,
talk more about that later. But all right. So any last words, Gian? Wrap it up. Finish it up.
No, that. Thanks again for watching. I noticed in the chat they were completely ignoring us and just talking about Indian film. They were arguing about Indian film the whole time, which is awesome.
I'll have
You know,
to.
the 10 people or whoever.
I'll have to have Aaron
So
watch one of these movies, and we'll have to do a
that's what I'm
review.
saying. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely down. Yeah, send me something to watch. Tell me what it is to watch. I'll watch it.
And
we
then
will figure that
we
out.
can have an actual discussion, and people will probably love you, and you'll everyone will be like, "Fuck
Yeah.
Daniel, get him off the channel." Gian and Aaron
Well, thank you guys for having me.
or
This
Brian
is
Luke.
fun.
Yeah.
What did they say? Who did they say it was? That
Yeah, what is his
Brian
name again?
Lara.
the cricket
Brian
player.
Lara.
Brian Lara.
I'm gonna look at his highlights
That's like
on
the only
YouTube.
dark person that looks like you that they know. That's why.
All
That's actually not true. But anyway, all right. We'll see you. I don't know
Hey,
in a few days or whenever.
well, Thursday, guys. Those of
Oh
you in
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
Thursday,
That's right.
Satya. We're going to be doing a live Satya review, so we'll see you guys in the chat. Tell